Greetings from Oklahoma Christian University. I'm John deSteiguer, the president, and I am thrilled with the guest that we have on campus today. The one, the only, Bob Goff. Bob, thank you, and God bless you for being here.
Thanks a million. It's great being here.
So Bob's a best-selling author of a great book, Love Does, that has had great impact. He's an international justice seeker and diplomat. He is a devoted follower of Jesus, and he is literally everybody's best friend. You meet him and you love him immediately.
Oh, thank you.
Bob, we have so many people that are excited that you're here. Thanks for joining us to be with the students and then tonight at our dinner. I have a few questions. Can I ask you a few questions?
Fire away.
So you have such a lovely nickname for your wife, Sweet Maria.
Oh, yeah, you should meet her. It's not like we're trying to talk her into it. She's just amazing.
Does she have a nickname for you?
Hey, you. Yeah, we don't have a nickname for me, but she's just like very much, so much at the center of our family and our lives, and we're very different from one another. We've been married for 29 years and 28 days, and in that whole time, people go out with couples for dinner. We've gone out to dinner 2 times, right? One of those was a Taco Bell. She's like just super, super shy, right? But not like mousy shy. She knows what her life is. It's me, Lindsay, Richard, Adam, and this dog I don't want, right? That's it. She's got tone on who she is, what she wants.
That's great.
It's really beautiful.
I love how you courted Sweet Maria.
Yeah, I'm still working on it. It's true. Yeah, just pursuing her and learning about things like when somebody isn't pursuing you back. So what do you do with that? Do you just take your marbles and go home or join the circus, or do you just say no if you found somebody that you really like in a non-creeping, just the side of a restraining order, but to just pursue people that you love? And the same thing with Jesus, right?
So what a great lesson for marriage and for life with Jesus. That's right.
Totally. Keep the pursuit going. And even now, after 29 years, I've never given that girl a daisy that had more than 3 petals on it, right? It's like, he loves me, he loves me, he loves me. It's all about where you start. But it won't be the big trips or big whatever. It'll be 1,000 little things. I'm dating myself, but remember there's a group called Orleans, and they sing the song, You're Still the One, every morning. I blast that every morning. I just play, You're Still the One. And he's like, no, but I know she loves it, right?
Great.
So what if you just find a song and then just play it over and over, and it isn't like you're trying to talk yourself into it. It's like just celebrating, okay, where do we go to? What do you want to do? And I think that's what God whispers over each of our shoulders. It's like, so where do you want to go? What do you want to be?
Wow.
What do you want to happen?
Well, so let me ask about that. Where do you want to go? Where do you want us to go, God? So a college student that reads your book, hears you speak, he or she is inspired to do great things. How do they follow in your footsteps to make memorable stories that impact people's lives?
That idea that following Jesus, if it doesn't lead you to the poor, you're not following Jesus. So I would say that's Matthew 25 said that when we meet Jesus on the first day, I want to ask him questions like, how did you make Yosemite? How did you decide 2 waterfalls or 3? And it said that he would only want to talk to us about hungry people and thirsty people, sick people, strange people, naked people, and people in jail. That's it. So literally, it's not following my footsteps, but in Jesus's footsteps. Those are the 6 things. 6 things. If you can find one guy who's hungry and thirsty and strange and sick, and naked people are hard to find, but that's it. Find those people, and then you'll actually have things to talk to Jesus about. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really awkward conversation. He said it was like sheep and goats, but what he meant is me and you, right? He said, so if you want to have things to talk to me about, don't keep track during your life. But that's what I want to know. I just want to know, how did you interact? Where did your life intersect theirs? So I'm just trying to have mine intersect those more often, so I'll have more things to talk to Jesus about.
Wow. Okay, so tell me how you got involved. I'm thinking about the mentoring project that's now here based in Oklahoma City. How did you get involved in that? And it does that kind of thing.
Yeah. So Don Miller had started that years ago, and there's a great guy at the helm, John Sowers, and it's just a family of friends. That's really what we assume that we all are. I just assume friendship when we meet. And then not joining people's organizations, because Jesus didn't have one, and he doesn't want us to join his organization. He wants us to join in his life, right? And so when there's an outfit like the Mentoring Project, you meet a guy like John, and we're friends, and so we just join in, right? And I like him because Dawn liked him. And I like Dawn, so I don't know how many degrees of separation, but just if you assume everybody's your friend, right, then you're going to do some really terrific stuff, but you don't need to make an organization every time. It's fine, but organizations need to be organized, right? Like the Red Cross needs to have the O positive on the right shelf. But you and I, if we get a great idea, we could just go do it. And I like that. So there's room for both. And so when I see the things to scale that John's been doing with a community of friends, that's so inspiring. So I just want to be a part of it. That's the cool part too. If you assume that everybody's friends, then all of this, like what you have going here at the university, I assume I'm part of that too, right? And then what I'm doing, that you're a part of. So it's kind of cool. Then we don't have people that start out with terrific intentions, but they start kind of walking the fence lines and kind of like saying, this is my turf and that's yours. Not in a mean way, but just kind of understand, it's this ugly, it's just such a punk, this idea of comparison and competitiveness. And we just don't need to do that when you assume friendship and that it's all ours. That's why people ask me all the time where I go to church. I'm like, I say ours. I'm claiming dibs on all of them, right? Some people are like this, and other people are like this. What if you just say it's ours, our church? That's how we roll.
Wow, God bless you. I mentioned too that Donald Miller, good friend of yours, man who loves you and you love him, was here a few months ago on campus. He was just inspiring and great for our students. He told some stories about you. Do you have a story about him that you would like to tell?
Oh my gosh, great Dawn stories. You know about these trip that he took to Uganda with us. And there was a beautiful evening in one of the refugee camps. But the next day, we went out and we took all the money from Love Does, and we just gave it all away. It's been awesome. It's been so fun. And it turns out, like, my worst subject in school was school. But it turns out I'm, like, really good at starting schools. So we bought 50 acres, and one memory of Dawn is him, taking this plant surrounded by a bunch of tribal elders and putting it in the ground and taking such great care to plant it. So you're just kind of throwing it in the ground, symbolism. It was like you just took such great care with small stuff. And that's it. We have some people who want to draw a lot of attention to themselves, and he's just not one of those guys. He's a humble voice. I live down by the bay in San Diego, and apparently a bunch of people know where I live because they bring their boats by and they talk about me. It's so awkward because they don't know I can hear them because their voices carry over the water. It's so weird. So I'm like, oh, yikes. And I think humble voices carry further. And so Don's voice has carried really, really far in my life. He asked me if I would officiate his wedding, and so I got the license and all this, and it was down in Louisiana, and so I called ahead, right, to the county clerk to make sure they got all my signed stuff, because I don't want to get married and then it's not legitimate. Right. And they got all these kids, that aren't actually on the up and up. So I called ahead and I said, I'm marrying this guy on Saturday. And the guy said, we don't do that down here. I'm like, oh, no, wait. He's going to marry a woman. I'm just going to officiate. And I did so great until I looked in his eyes and I just lost it. It was me and the bride are just because I look in his face and I just see a humble man who loves God. So eager to just jump in and say let's go. And he's been anything that you liked and loved as, it's because he was so influential in my life. And in these words, I spelled of one time UV. I'm like, of. And Todd's like, how about OF? So he would just be so kind. And some of the words that I like the best are ones that Dawn and I are talking about. I think that's what happens when you're good friends. You just start reflecting one another.
Right. Oh, that's really special. That's wonderful. These questions I've been asking, frankly, have come from our students.
Oh, awesome.
And there are a couple of other questions also that asked. Which color balloon is your favorite?
Yeah, all of them are tied for first.
Okay.
No, really. I've never met a balloon I didn't like. And that's what I do when I go overseas too. We started a school in northern Iraq last year. And all these Yazidi kids and kids fleeing Mosul are in the school. And so I bring a pocket full of balloons, and I gave balloons to the kids. But then we met with the guy that's in charge of everything in northern Iraq. And I'm like, what do you give that guy? So I blew him up a red balloon. I'm like, you have one of these? He's like, no. So I just think I see balloons like this, and I just say, like, we don't need to get wrapped around the axle wondering what we'll give people. Just give them a little bit of joy and hope, and give them your friendship. And just let them know. Like, give people, if you don't know what to do, if they're having a really bad day. There was a guy that actually messed up in front of Earth. Like, he pretty much messed up big time. And I filled his office every day with more and more helium balloons. I made it look like he won the Super Bowl. I mean, like, but he's going to remember it was the worst week of my life. And a friend of mine just started filling, there's no notes. It was just more and more and more balloons. So one of those things, it's just like, that's a great way to just say I'm with you. And I think I probably learned some of those things from Don.
Wow, that's really great. Wow, what a blessing you are. Thank you. Your book has impacted so many of us, and we're looking forward to the next one.
I know, right? It's just going to be fun. The next one isn't like this first one's like kind of a memoir kind of thing. But wouldn't it be stupid if the next one was like the same way? It's like, well, enough about me. Let's talk about me. So the next book is going to be about other people that I've met along the way. You know?
Well, if they have stories anything like yours, it will be a fantastic, life-changing book.
Yeah, I really hope people like it. Problem is, everybody's second book always stinks. So in the introduction, it says, this is my third book. Yeah. Just now you'll know the inside scoop. I'm like skipping right over number 2.
Well, Bob, what a blessing you are. I'm so grateful that you're here.
Oh, I can't wait to see everybody.
Can I give you a hug?
Oh, yeah, get in here. Come on. Oh! We hit the honeycomb. That's even better.
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy lives boldly, he loves boldly, he changes lives boldly, and he's friends of all of ours. God bless Bob Goff.
Oh, thanks a million.
I'm President John deSteiguer. And I'm Bob Goff. OC is home.